I keep talking about this football game. The reason I do it because we learn so much and get so much joy in those experiences when it's happening. And as we've learned to accept, on the field and on the stands, pulling for our team versus their team, uniform color versus skin color, we're just getting there in terms of politics. Now, when I ran in '84, the first issue was, could a black run? Yes. Could a black compete in the debates with whites? Yes. Well, Jesse, we know you can run, but now we're going to discuss foreign policy. Do you want to come to that debate? Yes. We came here on the foreign policy. Oh, yes. And so many people got used to seeing a black on that stage for the first time debating these issues. I even got on the ballot in Idaho. And then, because we inspired new voters, Democrats were getting the Senate in '86. I ran again in '88. More people it was less traumatic. We doubled the vote. I won Virginia in '88, first time a black ever won Virginia, and Doug Wilder became governor in '89. I won New York in '88, and Dave Dinkins became mayor in '89. And Republicans said, well, if a black man can do that, why not put Ferrara on the ticket? The white women started saying, me too, which is a good thing because we were allies of opening up these doors. In '92 and '96, Bush and Dole got more white votes than Clinton. But the newly enfranchised voters made him the winner. Republicans decided, hear this now, y'all, they would engage in registration. They would engage in nullification. So year 2000, they nullified voters in Florida. They won by nullifying voters in 2004 as well. It's a contradiction to be fighting for voting rights in Baghdad and nullifying votes in Florida and Ohio. It's not right to go to the Katrina zone and speak of democracy and all of that, and then Iraqi Americans could vote by satellite from America to Baghdad. But those from Katrina couldn't vote from Atlanta back to New Orleans. What would make us more willing to fight for the right of Iraqi Americans to vote in Baghdad and Fallujah than Americans to vote from Atlanta, Houston to New Orleans who are in exile? And so fighting these fights is what makes us blooded. Now, from these struggles, civil rights fighters, come opportunities. So out of this comes the idea that here comes Barack. Here comes Hillary Clinton. All of a sudden now, maybe a woman can be president. Men have had a lot of chances and some didn't do so well. Maybe black can become president. And I think it's a matter of the maturing of America. I mean, the more mature we are, the more we overcome these unfounded fears about each other. So, well, Colin Powell can be Joint Chief of Staff and make us stronger. And so I think that the Barack factor will be a big factor in this campaign. I think it's going to increase interest. It's going to increase registration. I think it's going to make the issue sharper. For example, Edwards opens his campaign up in New Orleans in the Ninth Ward. That's a good thing. He's going after that kind of deep South, black, white, Southern coalition. Kucinich says if you're against the war, then be against funding it. He's taking out some territory. And Senator Dodd says, as chair of banking committee and finance, we're going to have hearings on Wall Street about access to capital and in credit card exploitation. So these are some pretty healthy issues that are coming out of this. And I think his presence is a stimulus to make this a very live campaign. And if we vote our hopes and not our fears, he can win. And that is the contest is between hope and fear. Harold Ford could have been mayor, could have been senator from Tennessee. And when the race got real tight, the Republicans had a team meeting, and they used the ad of an alluring white woman pursuing a black man and use racial fear to drive him out the race. We must be better than that. The same is true in North Carolina, when Harvey Gantt, first black graduate of Clemson University, an architect, former mayor of Charlotte, was about to beat Jesse Helms in that race, and that was a great coalition built. And they used a commercial with a black hand pushing a white hand away, taking its job. The jobs we lost, the textile jobs we lost, the manufacturing jobs, those jobs didn't go from white to black. They went from here to yonder. I mean, so, but we must say hope and fear are in a contest. Hope must win for the good of our nation. That's the contest. 1, 2, 3, and they got to go bye-bye. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, he's sitting right here.
I was a delegate to your presidential candidate.
You're a smart lady. Well, come and give me a hug if you was my delegate. Come on. Well, just come right on down and give it up. Now tell me more.
In spite of that, I'd love to hear you talk to all of us about what they're trying to do in Arizona and building the wall across the border for the Mexicans out. I'd love to hear your views.
I'm glad you didn't say green eggs and ham. Well, you know, walls don't work. Walls don't work. Didn't work in China. It's just a relic now. Didn't work in Berlin. Walls don't work. The issue is that we share 2,000 miles of border with Mexico. The largest gap between the have and the have-not nations in the world, Mexico and. So you got parched earth on one side, encouraged by NAFTA, I might add, and you got green grass on this side. Folk are going to come under that wall or over that wall to get the green grass. Now, if we're smart and invest in greening that part of the Rio Grande, if we're smart, we'll put more focus on lifting them up than locking them out, if we're smart. Now, since we've taken trade skills out of our schools, if we build a wall, you know who's going to have to build that wall? Mexicans. We can't even build a wall. We ain't trained for wall building. But it will be seen as an act of hostility, and will just make matters worse. The 100 largest cities are now majority black and Latino. That's the new America. Teaching us how to live together and not have these black Latino fights in LA, that type thing, and not have this America versus Mexico, America and Mexico, not America versus Mexico. That's our future, is America and Mexico, not America versus Mexico. It's black and brown, and white, not black and brown versus white. We must pull down those walls because there's no future in those walls. Now, there's our short-term fear. You know, the thing about it is you look on TV and you see some Mexicans coming across the border, and they shouldn't be coming across illegally. But most Mexicans are here were either A, here originally, A, or B, we sent for them as guest workers. Most of them were sent for. We were fighting with Cesar Chavez some years ago out in California, and the farm workers were about to organize their union, and they're about to win the race. And Duke Major and those guys, they sent for several thousand Mexicans as guest workers to undercut the farm workers. Most of those who are here got sent for as a matter of our policy. Right now, if the Mexicans left, our construction industry would go, agriculture would go. So it's like we can't quite make up our mind. I would say that, I'm not naive, I think we should stop illegal immigration. Coming down from Canada or coming up from Mexico. But one set of rules. It will make us better. We must have a president who has the capacity to work out a new fair deal with our Mexican neighbors. Our neighbors are not going to win, and the wall will not stop it. It will only make us more hostile toward each other. Two more, and I got one more point to make, and we can all go bye-bye. And the Bears are going to win on. Ooh, when the Saints go marching home, not in, home. No George Bush, no Reggie Bush, none of that, just bears. I had to get it in, guys. I saw this orange and blue and just lost my mind. It's the bear colors, guys. Those are not Saint colors here.
Yes, sir. I came here for civil rights speech. I'm a Republican. I didn't come here to hear attacks on Condi Rice. I'd like to hear your comments on it, some positive comments on a very beautiful, very, speaks very, very clearly, the most powerful woman in the world, Condi Rice.
Well, don't leave. I think she's beautiful and articulate. I think she's just wrong. And my point is, she has a right to have her position. I disagree with it. And it's all right for you to disagree with me. You'll get better. I mean, we, you know, it's like I have a certain pride, you know, in an African-American woman Secretary of State. But I can't just stay on pride. It's like if Jack Robinson had been the first baseball player but only hit 200, pride would have worn off pretty thin. Colin Powell advised against this war.
Oh, no.
Let me make a point. He did. And in his being political, he tried to play both ends. After some pressure, he went to the UN with that UN. We see the weapons, that they were not there. He apologizes to himself about that. He was wrong, and he knows that. And because he disagreed, he got pushed out. I mean, he didn't just leave. I mean, Condoleezza has supplanted because of a point of view. Now, Condoleezza Rice and Rumsfeld and Bush and Gates, they have a right to have that point of view. Except most folks in the world disagree with them. So it's not about, I like Condoleezza. And I'm glad I don't have to like her politically because she's a black woman. I'd accept her for what she is. And I think that her position, Bush would not send a delegation to the UN Conference on Racism in South Africa. That was a shame. But that was their choice. On the Kyoto Treaty, on the environmental treaty, they said, I'll wear the highway. That was arrogant. When we got hit 9/11, we knew who hit us. We couldn't hit back real fast because it took us 3 weeks to build a coalition because we pushed so many people away with this kind of Confederate states' right ideology. And we finally got a coalition together, and people began to analyze, why are we here? If there are weapons of mass destruction, let's destroy them. If there's imminent threat, let's preempt it. Al-Qaeda connection, let's get them. We found none of that. We said, no, we're not rid of that. We're rid of that for democracy. You cannot get democracy, blow democracy in at a gunpoint. So every day we're losing lives and money and honor. Bush and Condi are saying more, more, more. I say go, 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 out of there. And so, I mean, I can, and the good news about us becoming more integrated is that Condoleezza has one position, Barack has another. Has one position, Powell has another. And that's just the way it ought to be. That we can agree to disagree without having a lot of stuff in our stomach about who is inferior and who's superior. I don't think she's inferior. I think she's very bright. Her light's just shining in the wrong direction. Next. Now let me ask y'all a question before I go. Listen, I'm going to try to wake up some of you sleeping Democrats in this state. I know 2 or 3 of y'all out here. One of the great movements, Mr. President, came out of the city. You? Last question, sir. I got one point. Make your last question, now I'll go. He needs a mic. He needs a mic. He needs it. Thank you, Reverend.
I have a question. These days, there's a lot of talk on television everywhere, conflict between Iran and the United States. I heard, which is not, it is a fact, that during the war that the United States had in Afghanistan with Taliban, Iranian government was helping from the other side, pushing the Taliban, and this side was the United States. So that reminds me of a saying that they said it was this religious man that was walking and was a rooster under his long coat. And the man lost his rooster and he just said, this religious man is coming, he said, have you seen my rooster? Did you see any rooster? He said, I swear to God I didn't see any rooster. He said, which one I believe? The tail of the rooster under your coat, or the swearing that you do to God that you have never seen my rooster? So who do we believe? Okay, this conflict, is this just a war that they just keep talking about between Iran and the United States, or is actually is reality? Because from one side, they're saying that Iran helped the United States with the war in Taliban. Now they're saying, my final question is, are we really building up another war with Iran, or is this just a word of just talk? And how could we prevent that? Thank you.
I do think that we're moving toward a war with Iran, and that's unnecessary. And if we do, it's going to be a dangerous expansion. It'll be even worse than what we're trapped in now. We've not given dialogue and diplomacy a chance. We're choosing to fight war now and look for diplomacy tomorrow. You should do diplomacy today, and if that don't work out, war tomorrow. We're starting with a conclusion and working back toward a reasoning process. Now, when I was meeting with Assad in Syria, October, I guess it was, his interest, how does America see us? If we talk with Assad, what do we have to offer? What he has to offer is, he is maybe the keyest figure in that region beside Iran. What does he want from us? Trade, aid, immigration policy, access to American universities. We got something to offer Syria. They got something to offer us. But if we don't talk to them, we push them back into the arms of Iran. That is not reasoning. We don't have to agree with them on everything. The more you trade with people, the less you fight with them. The more we trade with people, the less we fight. The more we talk, the less likely we are to fight. So if we don't talk and don't trade, we're pushing them into a warlike position. And our arrogance seems to suggest that because we disagree with them, let's fight them. When I was there, another thing that struck me, Mr. President, was that only people over there speaking English was us, the Americans in Iraq. We call them the insurgents. They're coming back home across the border. They think we're the insurgents. They think they're the home team. People from Iraq in Syria, when they go home, they are the home team. We're 10,000 miles from home. We are the insurgents. We invaded, we occupied, and somehow we think that we have the right to invade, occupy, and determine their government. It will not work, and it is not working, and it should not work. And America tonight is better than its president. We are better than that. We are, the American people, we're better than our leadership. That's why we need new leadership, because we're better than that. Now I went to see Assad back in '83, and an American soldier was down, and I said, President Assad, I want you to let the soldier go. He said, well, you know, I can't, because they're flying over our territory militarily. I said, but that does not constitute a war. But keeping him here could create a war. But Reverend, I really can't let him go because of our position relative to the U.S. I say, Assad, to let a soldier go, to open up a dialogue that could break the impasse. He said, well, you know, I really want to let him go, but it's around Christmas time and all my guys are away in Europe. I said, if I had to hire one lawyer in Syria, it would be you. I'm hiring you today. Let that soldier go. And we start talking stuff. And what I noticed when I was in Iran, when I was in Iraq, Syria, Cuba, Yugoslavia, in each instance, there were countries we had a no-talk policy to it. But we underestimated the religious leadership in that country. But people were poor and had learned to be hostile toward us. I tell you, diplomacy can change minds. In our own country, I've seen hostile, white, black relations turn into friends and neighbors and teammates and classmates. Our own country is the best example of overcoming fear and ignorance and hostility. And so I submit to you tonight that I would rather try diplomacy and fail than fight war and think we've succeeded. Now, I am not naive about defense. We should have a strong defense. Use it when we're in jeopardy. Now, I believe in some wars. The Civil War, to save the Union, we should have fought that war. The war in World War II to break up Nazism, the war worth fighting. They're bombing Grenada, bombing Panama, taking over Iraq because we call it a cakewalk. Wrong war and wrong conclusion. Let me ask y'all one point before I go. If you're here tonight and you're not a registered voter, one of the big issues, one of the big things that makes America great, say one of the things that makes America great is the right to agree or disagree without being disagreeable in a civilized way. One thing that makes America great is the right to fight for the right, but it only matters if you participate. So if you're here tonight and you are 18 or older and you want lower tuition, if you're here tonight and you want comprehensive health care, if you are here tonight and you want a more diverse school population, if you are here tonight and you want to end the war and choose another way, you're 18 or older, you're here tonight and you want us to reinvest in America and change directions, if that's what your interests are. If you're 18 or older and you are not a registered voter, you are not a, please stand. You are not a registered voter, please stand. You're not registered to vote. You are not a registered voter, please stand. Stand if you're not. And if you're in Boise tonight, don't tell me I'm registered back home. You're too far away from home to go. If you're in Boise, you're too far away from home to go anywhere. But you're at home. So wherever I stayed the last 2 or 3 nights in a row is home, and I should vote where I live. Now, if you're 18 or older and you are not a registered voter, stand. Stand. You're 18 or older and you're not registered to vote. So you're 18 or older, you're not registered. In Boise, and you live here. You're 18 or older. Now, if you are registered, raise your hand. If you're registered, raise your hand. If your hand not up, get up. Put it that way. If your hand not up, get up. If you're not registered to vote, stand. Now, come on down. This is the Martin Luther King March. Come on down here. I'm going to register you to vote right now. Come on down. Come on down right now. Come on down. Come on down. Come right on down. Give them a big hand. Come on down. Come right on down. If you're not registered to vote, come on down. This is your Martin Luther King March. Come on down. This is your way of honoring Dr. King for making it possible. Come right on down. Now, somebody's not telling the truth, Mr. President. If you're registered to vote, raise your right hand to heaven. To heaven. You know, I know y'all didn't believe that. And if you raise your right hand, say, I declare under the heavens, I am a registered voter. I know heaven is looking down on me. If I am lying, I hope I never graduate. And if I'm lying, I hope I never hit the lotto. Now come on down because I got some more verses. If you're not registered to vote, I know some of y'all are superstitious, so come on down. Come on down if you're not registered. Now, where are the registration forms? I want y'all to register. Come on down. Come on. Where are the forms? Come on down. Come on down. I never I couldn't get you on reason. I get you on superstition. Come right on down. Thank you, dear. Come right on down. Now, we're going to get for you tonight some forms, Mr. Introducer. Be sure that we have, where's Miss Grow? Mr. Grow? You'll come right on, make certain that, where can they go tomorrow and pick up their forms tomorrow?
At the information desk of the student union.
The information desk at the student union, you can pick up your registration. Now, friends, I say it like that, but friends, registering and voting is a big deal. The price we paid for Americans to have the right to vote is a severe price. And it costs too much. You cannot honor the King week and at the end of it not be a registered voter. Love you guys. Thank you very much. Where can they go? Grow. See you guys. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
There's a lot more people than blacks that were oppressed here.
No doubt about that.